What's up? We're here. Whale Webby 2.0.
2.0.
Mary, you got to introduce yourself. They're used to seeing Rabba and I.
I know. And I'm decidedly not Rabba, unfortunately.
Decidedly not.
Yes. Welcome,
Well,
everybody. Well, good thing we have slides for this.
Oh, okay. Slides.
Are you ready?
Good. Sure.
Here we are.
Ta-da.
Yeah. So, decidedly not Rabba. I'm Mary. I'm on the marketing team. I run product marketing. And if you guys have joined a webinar before, then you are very familiar with Logan, but this is Logan. You want to give your spiel?
I got a spiel. Anyway, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here, Mary, and setting this up. Got a full crowd, which is amazing. So thanks so much for the patience as we got this back up and running. So we're excited to share some of the product updates that we had in September. Take some Q&A. I'm sure we have some new folks and some folks who've been in the app for a long time. So we're excited to hear what is fresh in your mind outside of course, probably Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up. But yeah, Logan here, product manager. If we haven't met before, I was an e-commerce marketer previously and used Triple Whale. And then I was asked to join the team and try to help build this beautiful thing that we have. So I'm doing my best alongside my beautiful coworkers like Mary. So thanks to everyone.
Yeah. We decided to give you guys some intel on who we are. So yeah, Logan's a bit of an OG. I am coming up on my 1 year at Triple Whale with just I know, almost. It's 3 weeks away. So
all right.
I'm ready for that Slack notification.
Get your champagne.
Exactly.
I'm curious how many of our guests have been on Triple Whale for a year.
That's a good question.
What if we have? There's probably a chat in here somewhere. I've never used this program, but I'm sure there's a way to chat in. We need to raise the hands of how many people have been on Triple Whale for over a year. That'd be fun.
Or like a reaction or something. Let us know.
Yeah.
And also longer than a year, because then you're beating me and got to give me some intel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool,
let's get into it. So we have a little bit of a different format today than Old Whale Webinars 2.0 is that we are going to review the product updates that we released in the last month. So, Logan, do you want to dive into it? Should we share Triple Whale and get into the first update, which is Klaviyo audiences?
Yeah, let's first run through the slides, and then I think maybe let the audience dictate. If we need to dig into something, I can share my screen and we can we can go from there. I think that'd be fun. That way we can just kind of breeze through all the fun stuff, and then we can deep dive if needed. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great. So guys, please let us know in the chat, react if you want us to demo these updates in the product for you. So we have 7 updates from last month. And we're going to start with Klaviyo audiences. So, Logan,
what's going down with Klaviyo?
Yeah.
So I think what's fun here, if you guys have used our kind of smart customer data platform, the smart piece is that we're using AI to build audiences for you. That's kind of what you see when you first get into the page, the loyal, the core, the newbies. All that's built on this RFM model. And previously when we first built it, we knew that folks wanted to send this data to Facebook. So that was our first sync, was send this data to Facebook. But we know that retention marketing is a huge piece of the puzzle. So now you can actually send any segment that you build in the CDP directly to Klaviyo. And the cool thing is that we automatically update it every 24 hours, every 24 hours, 48 hours. So a big benefit, I'm going to try to go through a benefit statement of all of these new features so that you can kind of understand why you would use it and how. But maybe a good example is that you have a customer, let's say you have a customer list that bought more than 90 days ago but hasn't bought in the last 30 days. You could build that segment and sync it with Klaviyo. And you could also set up a flow against that list that we've synced up with Klaviyo. And that way, anytime a new member, because we're updating the list every 24 hours, anytime a new member, matches that criteria and is added to the list, you could have that trigger in your flow to send them the first email in your flow cadence. So it's just kind of an easy way to keep everybody together in one space, because of course you can sync the audiences to the various sources like Facebook and Klaviyo, but Triple Whale also gives you some pretty awesome tools to measure that audience as well. So we give you the ability to click into that audience, see everyone who's a part of it, their AOV, their LTV on a 90 and 180 day basis. So there's just some really cool features, I think, in our segment builder that maybe some other competitors don't have. So that's why I would use our Sync with Klaviyo feature right now.
Love some automatic updates and some workflows, because I feel like that as a marketer, anytime you don't have to build a new email is the best. So guys, again, let us know if you have any questions on this in the chat. Otherwise, we will move on to the next update, which is math. Math. We specifically have breakdowns now in the metric tiles on your summary page. So when you click into your tile, you will see in the details of your tile, third tab, breakdown, and you can see how your specific metrics are calculated. Is there anything I'm missing there, Logan?
No, I think so these breakdowns are available for the custom metrics section, and custom metrics are also like metrics that we have created, the blended metrics. So you'll see this for like profit and ROAS, and this one's I'm trying to think of another good one, net sales maybe. So essentially we had all these questions previously from customers. How is this calculated? How can I be certain that you're calculating it correctly? Does this match the formula that my data scientist is putting together in the background? So now we can just give you a really easy, succinct way to stay transparent. When you click the breakdown there, we'll just show you each individual metric that's involved in making up the makeup of the metric itself. So that way you can just stay informed without having to ask customer service or check a knowledge base, and make sure that it either matches your expectations, or you could build your own custom metric to match your expectations.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next update. Let's see.
We need like some like hip hop music this whole time. Something.
I know we do. We need some background music.
Keep us rolling.
Open to playlist suggestions, guys. Customer expenses.
Yeah, I would say that the big update here is just that let's say you're a new customer, or you haven't really updated custom expenses because it's a burden, like it takes a lot of time. Now you can go ahead and sync it with a Google Sheet. So when you go to the cog in the left-hand corner of Triple Whale, bottom left-hand corner, there'll be a cost settings page and then custom expenses. Instead of having to manually log every single custom expense, let's say you already have a Google Sheet, you can hit the Google Sheet, sync, and we'll create a new template for you. Just fill the template out, and then it'll automatically sync into Triple Whale. And then whenever you have something new come along, you can just add it to your Google Sheet template, and we'll sync it in. So we'll just be checking the Google Sheet every 24 hours or so for updates, and we'll update Triple Whale accordingly. So it's just helping out with your workflow. And of course, although it seems small, sometimes small but mighty features, you can also filter your custom expenses by name and or date, which just might help you with visualization.
Yeah, the nice thing about Google Sheets too, so you guys can only use one sheet for this, but just share it with whoever you want, and they can add their own expenses, and you can track it all in one place, and it'll automatically sync to Triple Whale. Nice and shareable.
Nice.
All
right, discounts. Excuse me. Yeah, so discounts, like this is one of those things where small but mighty. Previously, we've never had discounts in the app, and so you were never actually able to visualize the amount you were discounting over time. And so I think as a marketer, you obviously are looking at like top line sales, and you're building promotions, and you say, hey, I'm going to offer 20% off this and 20% off that. But I think there's other times too where like discounts go out into the wild accidentally where they shouldn't be, and all of a sudden you're giving a lot of money away through discounts. And so this just gives you an easy way to visualize the total amount that you're giving away in discounts, and you can graph it over time. So you could see, I mean, what you would hope is that if discounts are very high, you would hopefully see that sales are very high at the same time. So at any time where discounts are very high and sales are at the same like relative marker, there might be a problem, right? Like maybe a discount code is leaked that shouldn't. Maybe you're giving away too much margin on discounts. And you can also use the discount metric here to create any custom metrics you want. I think this would allow you to actually take like Triple Whale's total sales or total revenue figure. You could add discounts and refunds back into it to match Shopify's gross sales metric. So it just gives you more flexibility and more visibility into what's happening with your store.
Yeah, this is going to be a handy one in about a month and a half, as those sales are going out. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
All right. Customer filters. This is like a nice to have ad, I think.
Well, it's really cool. I think that we're trying to build, like we were talking about the CDP earlier, we're trying to build as much of a data repository as we can on your customer base. So what we've been able to do is we've been able to tap into Shopify's API to pull in, I don't know, there must be almost like 12 different meta fields on the customers. And now you can filter by them if you want in our different insights pages. So you can see here in the screenshot, there's actually a segment that says all customers. That drop down allows you to choose any CDP segment you've previously built, right? So you could go to the CDP, create a segment, and then come back here and filter. To the right of that, there's a filter drop down that allows you to build one from scratch right on that page. And in that drop down, you'll actually see an option to click customers, and you can choose one of those meta fields. So examples of the meta fields, I wrote some down. Customer tag, state, country, total amount spent, or total number of orders with your store. So this could be really interesting if you want to look at the cohorts page in aggregate and just understand like what kind of LTV, new customer acquisition cost exists per monthly cohort. And then imagine you want to create a filter and just look at that when it comes to like the state of California or the state of New York. Or maybe you are using some really cool specific customer tags based on who knows what that you want to filter the data by. We've made it available for you. So this is just like another step in the direction of bringing as much data together into Triple Whale as possible to allow you the flexibility just to finagle the data.
Mm-hmm. More finagling. Love that.
Lots of finagling. Get a penny every time I say finagling today. If I had a nickel every time.
Every finagle.
Right. Nickel for a finagle.
All right. These are our last two small updates, but handy, I think. Handy. The most basic one, custom metrics. Any integer that you enter in custom metrics for a calculation can now include a decimal. So you can get even more precise than you were before. And pods view, this one is for agencies in particular, or brand owners with a bunch of brands. You can build and save presets for your pods in there. Moving more into presets like we have with the pixel page as well. Am I missing anything there?
No, I just think, so like, I think I updated the decimal point. We used to be only integers. Integers are like whole numbers. So now you can actually put decimals in there, which is, I mean, in my opinion, huge. I can't remember why it wasn't like that to begin with, but thankfully it's there now. So you can multiply or divide by 1.5 or 2.5 or something, whatever you want, which is great. And then, the pods view is neat. I think the use cases I've heard there is if you have a larger portfolio of brands, and let's say you want to create a view for maybe just your apparel brands, maybe your beauty and cosmetic brands. So you can flip between those and just visualize how they're doing against each other. Creates a good visual.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I know we have some
These are,
questions too.
yeah, I was about to say, we've got some questions in the chat. Let's see.
What's up, Kenny? Kenny is a longtime listener. I think he's come to every single one.
Nice.
Kenny, thanks for being here, bud. All right, so Victor, what is custom expense? What is custom expenses dynamic?
I
For
think
example,
what if custom expenses are dynamic?
Oh yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna try to see if you can set a dynamic one right now. In the sheet, I think that is not possible. The Google Sheet sync, I think, are fixed expenses specifically. But let me see if you can set something up that would be, yeah, like a variable. You could set a variable expense against a metric. So let's say you were paying an agency a 10% fee of revenue. You could set up that variable expense and the cadence at which you would pay it out. So that's possible, Victor. Samantha asked, is that solely Shopify discount code usage or also special price versus retail, and our Klaviyo generated codes into account? I'm trying to remember what features she was asking about specifically.
Discounts, the Shopify discount tile.
Oh, it's literally the line item on the order details. So we're bringing in whatever monetary amount is listed as the discount amount on every order line item. So yeah, it's but I guess another thing to mention here, Samantha, is that you can actually do some filters by discount codes. So any discount code, anytime you see a filter where discount code is available, those are discount codes that are in your Shopify store. So even when you generate them via Klaviyo, I'm almost positive Klaviyo generates them in your Shopify store. So in which case they become available in Triple Whale. Awesome. I think Betty found the customer filter, but the customer filter is available in 3 of the insights pages. I believe it's the cart analysis, cohort analysis, and product analytics right now.
Yes. Yeah. We whizzed through these updates. This was so fast.
I mean, these are good ones. I mean, hopefully we kept, hopefully the audience isn't asleep.
Hopefully we kept you guys entertained. We do have a pretty big new feature coming out in about a month and a half. So we are going to do these whale webinars every month, and every month we will review the last month's feature updates, and we're going to do this kind of in this style, pretty high level. If you guys are interested in diving deeper into these updates, join Ocean Hours. We will send everyone a notification in the app to join Ocean Hours with one of our e-commerce strategists, Alejandro, and one of our CSMs, Raquel, and they will be able to demo these, give you examples of how to use them, give you some strategy, of course. And I believe our first Ocean Hours of this month will be next week. So you guys will get a registration link for that in Triple Whale. Keep an eye out. And, again, in December, we will have a big update. So make sure to join that whale webinar. Oh, I like this poll. Thank you, Logan.
Yeah, I want to throw this out there. Got to get some data and live data coming through.
Love that.
All right. Yeah, we got some people that are within the 6 months to a year. Yeah, hopefully this was, I imagine this update here was a bit more advanced because they're updates to existing features. So the folks who are in the less than 6 months, I'm sorry if this was, this is probably like maybe a bit above and beyond what you've even gotten into in Triple Whale at this point, potentially. But since you guys are engaging, like, does anybody have, regardless how long you've been in the app, like, does anybody have questions right now about things that not even the topics we covered today, anything that you're working on that you want to cover? I'm happy to like share my screen and walk through the app if anybody needs me to.
Yeah, we got time. Also,
yeah, 61% less than months.
Oh, wow. Love that. Got some newbies.
Yeah, really glad to have these folks on.
Yeah. Also, if this, please give us feedback on if this format is helpful as well, because obviously this is new. But if you guys want to get any more detail, Nancy says anything you can show us would be helpful. That's so broad.
Anything. There's a lot, but I can show you a lot too. I got to pull up a store that I'm like allowed to share. Let's see.
Yeah.
Nancy,
if you have any specific features with questions, that would help.
Yeah, I'm logging in as we speak, so I'll share my screen in a moment once I have this pulled up. Maybe I can show off some of the basic stuff.
Nice. Oh, Nancy, you've come to the right place. She's focusing on affiliates, Logan.
Yeah, you're talking to it's your boy. Yeah, I mean, I would love it too. To be honest, the integrations team is grinding, and they have a list of things they want to integrate with, about a mile long. But we are doing, Scotty, maybe get in touch with me. Send me an email, logan@tripwell.com. We've got our research team putting together. We're basically kind of like interviewing customers who are interested in talking to us, so we can talk more about like what you want to see out of that integration. So we are actively in the research phase. It's just we haven't put a timeline together on when it will be connected. So that'd be really great. If you could connect with me, Logan@tripwell.com, and I'll get you connected with her. Let's see. Sorry, or even directly in Tripwell for us. Do we have the option to add multiple discount codes? Yeah. I mean, right now, I would say that maybe I'll show you Affluencer Hub in just a second. And then, Angela, I'm trying to break down my retail sales versus e-com. The summary tab, and my numbers aren't lining up. Yeah, for retail sales versus e-com, I wonder if, Angela, if you are utilizing order tags, we could probably filter that out pretty easily for you. But I don't think right now we have the standard Shopify sales channel. I don't think we have a filter for that available. But I'll show you in just a moment, Angela. I'm just reading all the questions, then I'll hop into Tripwell. Which metrics can we improve on in Shopify store understanding? Okay, which metrics can we improve in Shopify store understanding of Tripwell data, conversion rate, AOV, customer? Yeah, I'll show you a couple cool ones. All right, let me see what I can share here. So, present to audience, share screen, allow share window, share this window. Cool. All right, sorry, I'm looking over my monitor here just to make sure I can answer some questions. So let's first go through the Affluencer Hub for a second, and I'll show you guys some updates and things you can do there. So we're going to go to the Pixel Affluencer Hub. All right, so let's. I'm gonna talk on something that's a bit of a common misconception about the Affluencer Hub, just so everybody's aware. The Affluencer Hub allows you to do really two different things when it comes to affiliate influencer management. You can allow Tripwell to ingest and store and track influencers and affiliates automatically by using certain UTM parameters in your tracking links. So anytime you're using UTM, like the standard UTM _ medium equals affiliate or influencer, whatever you're using as the UTM campaign parameter, let's say it was Logan Brown because I'm an influencer. If those two things are true in the tracking link, we will automatically create an affiliate or influencer for you here in the hub. And whatever traffic comes through that link will track the sessions and visitors and subsequent purchases, right? But let's say that I did track like this person, Julia. Let's say I tracked her through that UTM medium and UTM campaign link that I just described. I still may need to hop into the account and click edit on her code or her account and add some discount codes, because I know that I'm already using discount codes for her promotional purposes. So I would click the plus here, and you have two options. One, I can select from a discount code that's already available in my Shopify store. So you could just like you can either scroll here, or you can actually start typing and we'll find it for you. Or I can literally create a code from scratch and also send that to your Shopify store. So if I just made like test 1, 2, 3, once you type it in, you'll get this little prompt to create the code. And then you can choose whether or not it's a dollar amount off or percentage amount off. And so anyone who uses this code will get attributed to Julio, which is pretty cool. So hopefully that answers Scotty's question on like discount codes and tracking. The other way you can use the Affluencer Hub is if you want to use Triple Whale as your main management system for link creation and discount code creation for every affluencer. We call them affluencers because affiliate influencer, but you can add one here from scratch. The one thing that I'll note is that if you already are using links from a system like ShareASale or Impact, there's really no purpose in creating the affluencers here from scratch. This is only if you want to use Triple Whale as almost your replacement for ShareASale, where I might write, Mary's name here. She's my influencer, and I want to send Mary to Mary's going to share triplewhale.com. The campaign is going to be, fall 2023, and she's a TikTok influencer. Okay. If I create Mary like this, what this is doing is going to create a link that I will then give to Mary, and Mary will use when she promotes me on TikTok. As many of you who are doing affiliate and influencer marketing, that's what a ShareASale is doing for you already. In which case, there's a much more advanced thing we can do to match your current tracking links into kind of Triple Whale's mechanism for attribution. So for anybody who is using a third-party attribution system and you want to make sure that all of those affiliates and influencers are logged in Triple Whale, just reach out to me and I can help you and walk you through how to do that. It's probably a little too advanced for this webinar, probably deserves its own webinar altogether, but I can certainly help there. But yeah, for any affluencer that's created, you can create expenses, discount codes, and links for them. And so you can organize all of that here, which is great.
Guys, you're so lucky. When Logan was developing this feature, that is exactly how he explained it to me. So very consistent, Logan.
I'm consistent. Great.
Yeah.
I probably run it through my head a zillion times. All right, so let's move on to, let me show Angela for a second what we do have availability to do on breakdowns in the summary page. We're going to go to Shopify stuff. We're going to filter by segments. So right now, these are the only two filters we have available, Angela. I know you mentioned you don't have order tags, but for most of our customers who have point of sale set up, they're doing like a Shopify, I think it's called Flows, where it automatically adds POS as a tag on those orders. So many of them do order tag equals, and then you can type in POS, and you can use it like that, and you can filter it out. So if I used POS, that code's not available, which is why it's not letting me apply. But let me see if I could do I think there was OCU, like Zipify. Yeah, let's say it was a Zipify order. You would click, what's it doing? Oh, select equals. Great. So I save and apply. And then what you would do is you would ensure that you have that selected. And that would show you only POS orders. The opposite of that is order tag does not equal. And as long as whatever order doesn't have the POS tag, that would show you all e-com revenue as an example. But there's another customer, Angela, that's been asking about the channel filter. So I know it's being bubbled up with the team right now. I don't know how fast it'll happen, but I do think that's probably something we can grab from the API and make available to you as a filter. So just making sure everybody knows this is available to them to some extent. And then, all right, so Victor was asking about metrics we can improve on. I think some cool things that you can do in Triple Whale that are just more simplistic and easier than just digging through your Shopify analytics is especially the breakdown of new customers versus returning customers. The great thing here is that we'll see entire order revenue, the percent from new, percent from returning, and then like the actual returning customer revenue and new customer revenue as absolute values. The great thing here is that as like marketers and store owners, whatever your role is, generally the objective is to try to continue filling your top of funnel, meaning we want new customers in our store and we want probably a proportionate amount more new customers than returning in general, because as we fill the pot with new customers, we're hoping our retention marketing is good enough that those folks will come back and reorder. But if we don't continue to fill the pot with new customers, then there's actually a really good saying out there. There's a write-up about this, but it's called like the sponge theory, where you're kind of crunching the sponge, and the sponge is like your current customer base. And if you keep relying on them for revenue over time, you're just squeezing the sponge and squeezing the sponge. And over time, your sponge is going to dry out because your existing customer base is only going to order so much from you over their longevity. And so you have to continue to fill the top of the funnel. So when you talk about like what metrics can we visualize and improve, what I like to do is review my total revenue, my new customer contribution margin, my new customer cost per acquisition, which is another great metric that I can show you on a web analytics. What am I doing? In custom metrics, we should have. I'm looking for NCP. Oh, here, NCPA. So this metric here is blended total ad spend divided by the count of new customers you've acquired. So you need every store should have this defined as whatever their target is, whatever their goal is. Set that target. You can even like this metric specifically, you need to have that defined for your brand. So you know that if it ever goes above 42, if it ever goes below 42, that's your scaling opportunity. If it's above 42, that means you need to be more efficient with your marketing and maybe pull back spend somewhere or introduce more creatives, better offers, something along those lines. So it's a blend of just knowing kind of what your goals are and then where to look in Triple L to find them and kind of measure over time. And then, of course, using the pixel, which in the pixel dash gives you a better overview of which channels are helping drive the macroeconomics of the store, if that makes sense. So I think every metric, like as Victor is saying, can be improved on, but I think that Triple Whale's summary page, when it comes to breaking down the Shopify metrics into that new and returning, and then using all the blended data to create that new customer cost per acquisition number for you, allows you to easily measure every single day, every single hour, every month, how well you're operating. Because you may notice at some points you're really heavy on returning customer revenue, but at other points you're really heavy on new customer revenue. And both are fine as long as you're blending over time in an area that's like healthy for the brand. Because some people live in this world where they want their blended ROAS number to be very, very high. Let's say they want it to be like a 10. Well, you can be living on a world where your blended ROAS is a 10, but it looks really, really healthy because your returning customer revenue is so high and compared to your new customer revenue. But if you don't continue to fill the new customer revenue bucket, you're going to squeeze the sponge dry at some point. So that's kind of like the fine line we have to teeter on. Let's keep going here. We got cohort analysis. Any plans for integrating with other POS or sales systems? I have not heard about plans for integrating with POS systems at this point, only because the pixel and attribution is really in the forefront of Triple Whale at the moment, and point of sale attribution is a really tricky thing. So that's why our focus hasn't been as much on POS, but we certainly want to make sure we have all of those orders available for you to see. That we don't want that revenue to be blind to that revenue. So to that extent, let's work together. Maybe there's a way to send your POS orders into Shopify and we'll make sure they're here. But I don't know of us integrating with any specific POS tools at the moment.
That said, we are working on a lot of new integrations.
Yeah.
Not specifically POS, unfortunately, but there's a long list of integrations coming before the end of the year. So we'll keep you guys updated on that.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to get to the cohorts in a moment. I'm just trying to focus on maybe summary page for a second too. So is it possible to get a report on net margin by hour in graph? Yeah. You can define net margin. You can basically create, you can create a custom metric here, right? I'm going to make up, I'm not sure what you would define net margin as. I'm trying to think. I would probably trying to think how it, maybe I would do sales, like maybe I would do revenue minus, I would have like maybe all of my expenses, but for now I'll just do like ad spend. I know that net margin is probably going to be order revenue minus all expenses divided by order revenue, right? So I could do it like that. And do revenue again. And then I can add this to my pins and apply. And then for like, just because it's populating for the moment, that'll go to your pin section, but you can look at any graph. And if I were to actually look by the day, today, I can see hourly the amount of revenue coming in, and you would be able to see your net margin the same way on a graph. You just click on the tile and you can see the store is clearly not doing a lot of revenue, but yeah, you could click on the tile to see the hourly breakdown of that metric.
Logan, I feel like this might be a good time, although I don't know if it's populated yet, but this might be a good time to show the breakdown of that tile you just created.
Oh, yeah, sure. I got to find the pin section. Let's see.
Oh, it's right. There we go.
Net margin, which I clearly didn't calculate correctly. No, I don't think that works for custom metrics, by the way, because you can click the edit button and edit it like that. It works for that works for custom metrics that are pre-built. So where did we put all of Triple Whale's pre-built metrics?
I think they should. It's a good question. I thought they were in the custom metrics section.
Yeah, I'm also in an account that gets played with all the time, so I'm not sure.
This is a bit messy.
Yeah.
This is where we practice.
But you can look at it like here. Mm-hmm. The order revenue and product sales minus all the different ad spends and the custom expense ad spend, which creates the blended ROAS metric. So that's where a breakdown would be. So yeah. Let's see. What else we have here?
Let's see.
Victor, I'll get back to NCPA goal. That becomes a little more complex, but I'll get back to it in a second. All right, Samantha asked, our influencers are marketing our stores a lot. I see. We have store events. Yeah.
That's makes related sense. To the report on net margin. Yeah.
Well, I think she's also wanting us to integrate maybe with maybe more POS or even attribution for the store. Yeah. Nice. So, okay. Let's see. Let's go to cohort analysis for a moment, and I'll walk you through that.
Also, guys, just gonna plug Ocean Hours again. These are fantastic questions to ask Alejandro and Raquel. So definitely join next week.
Nice. Yeah. All right. So a couple cool things about cohorts. Like right now, what we're doing is we're looking at like all customers. So we're not doing any sort of drop down or drill down filter. So in this case, what I would use this for is to understand or what I was using it for, because I was a user of Triple Whale when I was doing this on my own. But the big thing here is more about planning, in my opinion. So you're going back, and in product management, we have this thing that we call retros, right? So when we finish like a project, we go back, we do a retro on it, which means we ask the team what went well, what could we do better, did this work out? So couple of the things I would think about is what were your marketing plans in the past? What were you doing? And then what were the results of those marketing initiatives? And so a lot of our marketing initiatives is about, like I said earlier, filling the bucket, filling top of funnel, getting new customers in the door. And then you have like your retention efforts, which will play into the right side of this graph. So over here, we're looking at every customer that was acquired in October, every customer acquired in November, etc. And then this is the amount it cost us to acquire each of those customers. So this goes back a bit to what I was saying about setting new customer acquisition goals. Your goal for any of these months may change slightly, maybe based on the products you're selling. I'll give you an example. I was in an apparel company before. So in the summertime, when we hit like April, May, June, July, my NCPA target was a bit different than it was in the fall and winter, because in the summer we sold swim trunks. So our AOV dropped to around like $65 in the summer, but we had we sold a lot of them. But my NCPA goal, and this actually maybe goes really well into what Victor was asking about. You set an NCPA goal based on the net margin, the gross margin you really want to drive out of every order. So what that means is order revenue minus all variable expenses. So variable expenses are your cost of goods, your ad dollars, shipping, pack and fulfill. So anything that's variable that can change based on the size of the order or the product being ordered. And then you want to take whatever's left. That's your contribution margin is what they call that. So let's say my goal was to get $5 in contribution dollars from every order. So take away you just put this in a spreadsheet and you can figure it out really fast. Like after I do my shipping, after I do my cost of goods, because my product costs me $20, shipping costs me $5, pick and pack is $2. How much money do I have left to spend on advertising per order? So that's how you set your target. And you want to set your target either based on product line, or you want to set your target based on like the general AOV of the time period. Some of you maybe have a single product, a single SKU that stays the same all the time, which is great. For me, my target had to change a little bit over time because of the products I was selling. But what's also interesting is that this isn't my old account, but let's say, for example, I was looking at my summer months, and let's say I was hitting my target. What's really interesting is that I would want to see at first, wow, are people that I'm acquiring in May, and I'm acquiring them at a lower rate, but also a lower AOV, which is this first order metric here. However, look at this LTV comparatively, this dark blue. This means that customers acquired in the month of May actually spent more with me by month 5 on average than any other cohort, right? And so then I might try to deduce what is it about that cohort that led to a larger LTV. Was it something I changed in my marketing, or was it that maybe the product that I sold them, that was a great first product to get them in the door, which led them to a great experience, and they came back and bought other items from me. And so right now, as you're thinking about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we're a little behind the 8 ball talking about this, but like go back in time, because now anyone who joined Triple Whale should have, you almost have like 6 years of data, depending on how old your store is. You can go in here and look at this from years past. Go in here and look at what your customer acquisition cost was for, say, September and October. Because if you can acquire customers in those months at a rate that's at or below your goal, you really want to double down in those months, because the likelihood, based on historical analysis, is that not a majority, but let's say 20 to 30% of those customers will come back in November and December for your Cyber Monday and Black Friday and holiday promotion periods. And so if you can acquire a bunch of people for maybe even slightly above your target goal, you're willing to take a small hit on getting them in the door in September and October, because you know you're going to make a decent amount of money back on the second or third purchase they make in November and December. So that's how customers use this. And then basically they'll filter this out by certain elements. So maybe you want to only see this cohort table by customers who ordered a certain product. So you can do that here. And then you can kind of look at this table and then apply the filter and look how it changes when they order something. Again, I mentioned in an earlier note that you can maybe change this by customers who live in a certain state. So like, what changes when I look at customers who live in New York or something? So those are just kind of the different things you can do to look at the cohort analysis. So I mainly used it to plan ahead based on the activities of last year. And I said, great, the springtime, I feel confident that I can meet the same NCPA numbers, next year in the spring here, like March and April. We had 300 customers come through. I know historically customers spent like an extra $5. Each customer spent on average $5 more with me by month 3. So that means I could probably increase my target here by maybe $2. And that's going to be my goal. So when I go out to go buy Facebook ads or whatever else, or set my marketing budget, right? So when you're setting your marketing budget, all you're doing is saying, how many customers am I hoping to acquire and at what rate? You multiply these two together and that's your marketing budget, right? For that month. And if you can go out and acquire more customers for less, then you've become an extremely efficient marketer, right? So that's the way to do it.
This is where those customer filters really come in handy, particularly preparing for the holiday. And Logan, you keep teeing me up to, push more things, but guys, I'm going to drop a link in the chat. We just published a ebook that outlines very specifically how to use Triple Whale before, during, and after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So if you're looking for more kind of prescriptive strategies on how to use the platform, definitely check it out. We are a little behind on the 8 ball because I'm sure that you are all, knee deep in planning and preparing, but in case you need some extra strategies. Yes. Yeah. That is a great question. And I'm not sure, Daniela, if you are here, is there a link for Ocean Hours created? Because I cannot access it right now. Oh, thank you. Through this interface. We will get that for you, Megan.
Nice. We're kind of coming up on the end of the hour as well. So if anybody has any last minute questions, let us know. But I think we're going to try to do this. What did we decide, Marion? What's the cadence?
We're going to do this once a month.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think hopefully you get some Ocean Hours in. It looked like the majority of folks were fairly new to Triple Whale. So I think let's just keep the communication lines open. We have a couple of opportunities to connect with team members. And then, of course, this webinar. So you can always send in a chat or something and let us know if you want us to cover specific things on the next webinar, and we'll log that and put it on our agenda too, because we're happy to cover things that are most important to your business at this time.
Yes. And Logan gave out his email. He's Logan@triplewhale.com. I'm Mary@triplewhale.com. If you guys have feedback or, anything that you want us to cover next time, please reach out and let us know.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
You got it, Samantha. Thanks for joining and hanging out with us.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Still hanging.